Sonic Rascal. Hey everyone, we're back again, and this is another episode of the Nexus Wormhole. I am Sonic Rascal, and of course, the superb co-host, somewhere deep in the jungle, in the nebula, Leche de mono, no cola de mono, leche de mono, or Mad
Don't get it wrong. Don't mistaken it. It's not the butt. It's the milk.
It's all about the vitamin D. Vitamin D against the COVID. What's going on, Leche? What's in your radar?
Man, there's a lot of shit happening. A lot's going on.
Well,
got a lot to talk about. It's gonna be packed show, jam-packed, non-stop, full-blown bullets from the sky delivery.
You got it.
You know, we're gonna be talking about China's dominance in the military-industrial complex forum. You know, the what do you call it? The world forum of all the superpowers that are getting prepared to basically start World War III, man, because it's something we're gonna need to talk about.
Well, let's start with that because we both saw a couple of news segments, and especially it has to do with Australia, who's very aggressive and is very in touch in what's going on with China with the bases. And we, I think, both saw either some clips, either 60 Minutes or other people Google 60 Minutes Australia, China, where they talk about they're setting up ports and buying infrastructures and you know, in these remote areas very close to Australia and the Pacific.
Yeah,
you know,
these have demolished, impoverished third world countries that they basically are indebting by feeding promises to these countries of what they're going to do for them and to bolster their economy. But they know from the get-go that they're not going to be able to pay back the debt. All along, they're really building, you know, military bases, or the Chinese are building docks, military docks to house naval ships, or in many cases, aircraft carriers. And because the Australian government, and I hate to say this, but I think it's also very true. I think the Australian government is just another agent of Great Britain and an agent of the United States. I think there's a big coalition between those nations, and they're the police state of that side of Oceania, you know, Asia, where you know, the great superpowers of the United States and England can't be at all times, but there you have Australia just keeping on their tabs on things, and they're starting to realize that China's mobilizing, and they're mobilizing at an insane rate, and it's something that, echoing the words of the Prime Minister of Australia, and you guys can look this up. It's the footage is there. The Prime Minister of Australia is giving a press conference, and he's talking about the hearkening echoes of World War II,
right?
Hitler and the mobilization
1930s, right?
Of a new nation at the time when, you know, they were restabilizing the military forces of Germany. When you watch the videos of the shit that's going on in China, you're starting to notice a lot of similarities of the street demonstrations with the heavy artillery, all the guns out, everybody, all the fucking different teams from Navy to ground to, you know, Air Force, everybody's showing up in these big parades. While this fucking guy's, you know, he's up there on the motor car waving at everybody, and they're preparing themselves for war. And I believe it. I really do.
Yeah, I saw some of those clips, and it looks like to me what they're doing is strategically going to third world countries, islands, know if Fiji's one of them yet, but they're setting up ports and saying that the ports are for economic, you know, for visitors, for tourism, and saying, look, we're going to build you this whatever $100 million
Yeah.
port,
Did
and
you see the
then
size of those complexes? I
I
mean,
did, and
it's
you know,
ridiculous.
and some countries can't even pay the rent for some of the electricity for them, and they think that for whatever reason they have somehow established themselves against China because they haven't completely. China hasn't told them that they're going to bring a military in. Their military, so they're like, well, that's not going to happen. Blah 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 blah. It will happen, and let me tell you something. The war of the future is going to be fought, you know, around that area, which is Philippines, Japan, Australia, South Pacific over there. And it's going to be very strange because if you look at America right now, and it's not very stable. So I really don't know what China's thinking, but their president, I mean, their dictator, unless you know, he's being very aggressive and putting bases around, the Chinese keep pushing forward because their economy is not doing so well, believe it or not. We're all connected now, and you know, it looks to me like they've had a bunch of calamities and natural disasters. You know, like the dam and a bunch of other stuff going on. So
and that's something else we got to talk about after
right.
that is the strange occurrences that are happening in China.
Right, and so I really see them as being more aggressive. I think they're going to keep trying to. If Trump is the president, he might be able to fight him up a little bit better. If Biden's president, I mean, TikTok will probably be stealing. Chinese, you know, hackers will be inside your kitchen and your living room watching exactly what you're doing. Who knows? Maybe they're doing it now. So it's going to be very interesting what happens because we both know that I don't see Biden as standing up to China, and I see Trump as being like half-assed, to be honest with you. I mean, but better than the other presidents have been, you know, Bush or Obama. So I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting. And
well, I'm gonna throw a prediction at you.
Sure.
I honestly think this is going to be the first time in the history of America where they might fight a world war in American shorelines and American territory. I think the Chinese are mobilizing, not preparing necessarily for war on their shores. I really think they're ready to mobilize. I think they can. I think they will. I think they can. I think they will. And I think when things get bad enough, all this stuff that they're doing, they learned from America to begin with, establishing bases, getting other nations in debt. Where the fuck do you think they picked all this up from?
Also, they're looking at, I mean, that's why the Prime Minister of Australia said that it reminded him of Hitler when he attacked Poland, when he was setting up you know, Hitler was going slowly, setting up bases. And, you know, all the Europeans were like, no, he's not going to. He's just going to take Poland and that's it. And then he came over, took Paris and France. And I think you're right. I think what's going to happen is that Taiwan is next. And I'll give you that prediction. Taiwan, they're going to be very, very
they have
forceful.
to. Anyone that allies, that's an ally to a foreign nation other than the Chinese cause is gonna have to suck the big one.
They got Tibet, they got Hong Kong. They're, you know, I'm positive that Taiwan is next. And then we'll see what happens with the Philippines and Japan and you know, the Koreas and whatever. It's going to be very interesting.
There's a lot of countries there that are aligned with the United States.
Right.
Because they didn't have any other fucking choice to begin with anyway. They've already, you know, the areas in the South Pacific, South Pacific Asia, they've already been down the barrel of the gun before. Philippines had no choice before. Vietnam's had no choice before. They've been put under those, you know, conditions, even though Vietnam fought, you know,
Vietnam won the war.
Many agree that they won the war.
Yeah, they do too. They have a museum. If you go to Vietnam,
that fucking country, I'll tell you that, it was straight jungle.
Well, it's a straight jungle, and nobody supported that war. But you know, did you also see the prime minister? Well, actually, there was a commentator talking about Where's Australia's submarines? Where's Australia's Navy? They're like 4 or 10 years behind, and here
Yeah,
comes
they're
China with an aircraft
and too
carrier.
late.
Too
Because
late.
that's why China is the sleeping giant,
It's
because
been sleep.
for the
They've been
longest time
planning
everybody
this.
thought, oh yeah, look how cute the little Chinese guys, they're making all this shit for us, they're making spoons, oh look at them, look at them, they're
Keychains,
making
right? Rubber
keychains,
bands, right?
oh look at that, they're making ornaments for your Christmas tree, oh yeah,
Yeah.
they'll never, guess what, they fucking made more than that, and they copied everything that we had in this country and in other countries, and now they're cutting edge, world superpower,
Yeah.
with a huge economic backdrop. They're loaded, and now they have a full on scale military assault unit that could fight a world war.
They can fight it, man. And let me tell you,
They have nothing. There is nothing that they need from anyone.
no, I mean, and they treat their own people. It's absolutely insane. I mean, that's the funny part. I think they're going to keep trying to push forward. I think they're going to be more aggressive, more artificial islands. They're going to challenge anybody. And if America doesn't get its act together and get some kind of strong leader, because what I'm afraid is Biden and Kamala get elected, and they're pro Wall Street. She is anyway. I think she'll be running the country because he can't really speak correctly. And I mean, he's got something wrong with him. He's just old, man.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you, going along with what I feel is going to happen.
Yeah.
China will start taking over all the islands. It's a necessary strategic movement. Why? Because they need to control anyway. Anybody from America is going to try to come in and obviously hit them, sabotage them. So they need to start making strategic plans. China's been making strategic plans for a very long time. It's just people never realize this shit.
Right.
It's just now, it's just they're in that almost like that third phase of the plan. They're not in this isn't first phase of China's plan.
No, this has
They've
been
been
going
doing
on
this shit for a long time.
Old
So
empire.
they're setting that whole thing up, and they're preparing for war. I feel like something like that will happen.
They are.
And then I feel like the first obviously you're gonna have the Pacific Islands are gonna be the ones that are gonna get hit, and then Australia and fucking New Zealand. Guess what? It's gonna be like Lord of the Rings over there again. Fucking
See, that to me,
Mordor. It's gonna be hardcore.
I'll tell you what, if they land,
and the white fucking Urukai are the freaking chinks, fucking rocking the military weapons. They already fucking go to town.
yeah, it's going to be pretty, it's going to be heavy because you're going to have, oh, Sam, they're dropping in parachute, Sam. Potatoes, Mr. Frodo. We throw potatoes. That's all we have. We have no souls. We have potatoes, Mr. Frodo. Oh, Sam, run. It's going to be heavy.
It's going to be heavy.
Because you're right. New Zealand and Australia, Japan, and, Taiwan. All these, I mean, I see Taiwan, they're going to get aggressive. I would not want to be Australia and New Zealand, especially New Zealand. They're like so... it's so peaceful over there supposedly, and so Lord of the Rings and rainbows, and here come, because they'll just land there and be like, what are you guys gonna do?
A bunch of fucking white elves, waiting, then fucking all in living in Rivendell, and they have no fucking idea what's about to happen. Fucking Urukai storm.
Urukai storm with machine guns. Machine gun Urukai, because let me tell you, Maoist Uruguay. That's going to be a heavy mix, my friend.
That's going to come. And then after that, I predict they're going to start sneaking in straight down right into California. They're going to be coming in that zone because for them, it's going to be a lot easier to go that way.
Of course.
And then at that point, that's when you're going to start seeing the effects of the first waves of actual, boot combat on the United States front lines. For the first time in history, on a world war scale. And then I'll tell you what, from all the movement that I see happening right now, is I'm receiving, my clairvoyant powers are coming in. Walter Mercado is speaking to me right now, and he's just bringing in all this information from the cosmos. And I see and predict that I think they're not going to have an election. I think the elections will be postponed. And I think that Trump will, in all benefit and glory, will postpone the elections and stay president indefinite, a la Putin. Put in your mouth.
Okay, well, I have a different take. I think what's going to happen is that if Trump stays in power, he'll be very happy. Who knows? He'll just start focusing on jobs. China will be more aggressive in Taiwan. I don't think they're completely just going to I mean, they might just attack, but I mean, if they did that, it would probably be Taiwan first.
We have been antagonizing them for a long time now.
Oh, I know.
This isn't like I know. America's thrown many stones at these people already. They're sick and tired of it.
I know. Well, I still think that, I mean, look, anything could happen. They could just go crazy and just, start parachuting. They have a huge army, so, and they don't really care about their men as much as other countries do. That's the way I feel anyway, or the way that I see things. So they'll just drop them off but I still think they'll be.
These fuckers. They got busloads of these fuckers.
I still think that there's a lot of calamities and natural disasters. I think things could backfire for them if the people that are in power right now, somehow suffer more. I mean, the thing is that everything's made in China and it's bought in the States, but they were also making a lot of money. So I see Hong Kong as the first move and of them trying to control the market.
I agree, but I think it's all in the strategy of control the nations that were allied nations.
Sure.
Oh, you have to, and then from then on, you're gonna start moving the boots.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely gonna. I would not want to be Australia, New Zealand for sure. No. They're gonna
get wiped. They're gonna get wiped first.
They're, after Taiwan, maybe Philippines, maybe even Japan. I don't think they've forgotten about Japan.
You can't fight this army with boomerangs. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Fucking Aussies, that boomerang squad they have is not gonna do it.
They're gonna have to build some, alien powered DNA kangaroo freaking.
Yeah, the fucking Trojan Roo.
Elon Musk is gonna have to develop some kind of electric freaking platypus nighthawk, boomerang.
I fucking think Elon Musk is gonna be on the fucking orbit of Jupiter with
he'll be gone.
Popcorn.
Oh yeah,
watching this shit.
Watching it, the best movie.
That guy doesn't give a, you know what I mean? Like, he's not about it. I think.
Well,
I don't know. I see that happening. What's that?
Well, right now I think he's making all his Teslas in China. So
really,
I think there's going to be a huge move for companies in manufacturing.
They might be copying his fucking technology right now, and these fucking guys are going to be using, fucking electrical current technology that's never even been tested or ever seen before. That they fucking hacked from Musk himself. They got the blueprints, and they're fucking shooting with fucking plasma rays.
Well, I don't know if you saw this too. India, it's another continent with a lot of boots on the ground too. Maybe not as much technology. I don't know about their military, but there's been a couple of, big things going on in the borders between China and India. I think soldiers died. Soldiers were, died.
I saw they
showed there's a clip in Google.
Yeah.
Right, and there was a huge fight. They're going at it.
They hand-to-hand
combat.
Was it like 19 Indians?
Something crazy like that, and it's like nobody's really talking about it. And
I wonder why.
Yeah, because they don't want to piss off the dragon. The dragon's getting big, man. Let me tell you, he's eating a lot of kung pao, and it's gonna blow up. But I think manufacturing is gonna come back. A lot of it will, because they're gonna be like, well, we're just gonna keep our secrets, or all the secrets we sold them back in the 60s and 70s or gave away. Like I said, it's going to be very interesting. So we'll keep an eye on that. But I also believe there might be more natural disasters coming from them.
That's coming.
And listen, you have to understand too, just because they have an aircraft carrier doesn't mean that it's going to be super high tech. You never know how they built it. Maybe they took some shortcuts, and, you may be able to just ram them with a fishing line. You never know.
But I'll tell you what, I remember that fucking scene in Helm's Deep, and those fuckers just kept coming, and they kept knocking the ladders down.
Right.
And there was more Urka and more fucking goblins and more. They kept coming. And when you have, you're not. Think of it this way,
Yeah.
okay? Put this into perspective. If you were to say right now to the American public, "We're going to war, America.
Right.
Get ready. Put your boots on because you're
Right.
fighting for your nation."
Right.
How many people in America are going to put your boots on and run for fight for their nation?
Well, I'll tell you what, they put their boots on for looting and destroying freaking half of New York and
Okay,
half
well,
Los
yeah,
Angeles.
well that's easy
That's what
money.
I'm saying. Look, I think you got a point. I mean, look, if
But
you
China's going to ask their people.
they don't ask, they tell them, do it.
Yeah,
You're gonna,
no, you're right. Let me rephrase.
yeah.
China will tell their people,
Or you go hang out with the Muslims at 20 million, we'll
let's
shave your
take
head.
it back. And these, everyone, fucking from the little ones all the way to the older ones, they're
Right,
gonna
right.
hop on that train. That's what I'm gonna tell you. It's a wave that's coming, and when
Yeah.
we see it, it's Helm's Deep.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think if I was China, and you can't really have a nuclear war. You can't have any kind of something horrible like that. But you have man. You can just drop them off, and if like New Zealand
Yeah,
or Australia, just drop them off and just see how many go at it.
and I believe that
Spooky,
I
spooky
think
stuff.
the fourth nation in the world to possess the most nukes is China. China
Well,
has nukes.
I know it's spooky, man.
That's the other thing. China has nukes.
Go back to Einstein. Einstein said, I don't know how the third world war is going to be fought, but the fourth world war will be fought with stick and stones.
Because there's no
So
more fucking
spooky.
nukes.
No, it's
Yeah,
over.
and they're gonna use them. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be a dark place. But that's something I really think that
I think that's
we're
the
not
edge.
far from that, man. We're not.
We've never been far from that. Those missiles are underground. Everything's always been a couple of months away and a couple of protocols. So my whole thing is hopefully the universe has a bigger plan. Hopefully this is just a Cold War, kind of like with Russia in the 80s. And hopefully these stupid leaders all die out and some people come in and realize that we do need each other, that we're human beings, and taking other people's lands and invading is just gonna it's gonna be interesting, man. But
Yeah.
of course, you never know what's around the corner. So let's move next to the next topic. So talking about the election, what do you think Biden's chances are? Biding time.
Well, I think I'm just gonna honestly going back to what I said earlier. I really don't think in the current situation that we're living right now with the Rona, with the freaking tensions of Black Lives Matter, with the movements that are happening. And that's the other thing. I honestly believe that even before we probably go to war, I believe there might be an eruption of a civil war. Now, what are you going to do? What do you think? So all these tensions that are there, there's so much race tension right now.
Oh my
People,
God.
there's no idea. And I believe all that stuff's going to start molding, paving a way to civil unrest, some kind of civil, a civil war of some kind. Obviously, maybe not to the degree of, or maybe to the degree, who knows, of what the original Civil War was like, but something bad. Because it's not between the North and the South here. We're just talking about, it's a race war.
Right.
It's a race war. It's crazy. But we have that. Then we have the coronavirus COVID bullshit going on. And then we have all these other factors, sub-factors of the foreign affairs that are happening.
Right.
I don't see Biden getting to the White House.
Whatever happens with the election, there's going to be tension, and the tension is going to be one of the highest. And part of the reason is because people are not working. All these people that want to get in trouble, they don't have a job anymore. They're mad. They're gonna, it's just a lot of anarchy going on, and not in a good way. Some anarchists are good. This is bad. The tensions are bad. Leadership's not so good. The new leadership coming in, I don't think it's good. Even if they win, it's going to be weird. It could be more peaceful if Biden and Kamala wins. That's my opinion. I think that
What's your take
It
on
would
fucking
calm more
Kamala?
people down and whatever. But I don't know. Either way, I think also because of the mail-in ballots, I don't know why people just can't wear a mask and go vote. I think they should do that. I don't get it, and there's going to be a lot of fraud. People are going to say,
Oh yeah,
well, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be the craziest time this country's had
man, I'm
since the
telling you.
60s, which I wasn't
And
alive in
who
the
is
60s.
this Kamala lady? Who is she?
She's
Give us some
I don't know.
background.
She's a heavy cat from California attached to Wall Street. But you
Oh,
never know.
well,
I mean, she may do some good for the country, but look, man, my whole point is,
I think it's a power play.
of course, it's completely a power play. She's in there because she's working for other powerful goons. And the way I see it is I look in New York, I look at, what Giuliani did to clean it up, whether people liked it or not. You weren't able to walk down in Times Square. There was prostitution, all kinds of crazy stuff. It's going to go back to the 70s, New York, man, for a while.
There's no jobs.
I was
What
reading
else are
that
you
all
gonna
these
do?
upper West Side moms and all these people with money, they're leaving. And either the governor or the mayor, like, oh, come back, come back. They're not coming back, man.
Well,
That
you know what?
city,
Part of the reason they're leaving is because they don't have the luxury they're used to fucking having
well,
either.
no, not everything's there anymore. It's not safe
No,
to go
no,
outside and
no.
go around and get your $30, kosher sandwich. So
Yeah.
that's going to be interesting. In
Mm-hmm.
California, you have a bunch of homeless people, like, I don't know, 70,000, 100,000, just camping out in front of like really nice neighborhoods. It's crazy. California looks like it's going to be, I see Russell dropping in for another freaking trilogy, Escape from LA, Escape from New York, freaking
Yep.
2020. You know what I mean?
All
Big
snakes
2020.
coming back.
Snake Blitzen. It's coming back. Come back, Snake. I think they need him. Bring
We
back
need a
Russell.
snake. Oh, love. We need a snake.
We need him.
This country needs some fucking snake juice.
Drop him off. Drop him
We
off
need
at night.
we need a bit of snake juice in our fucking bloodstream.
I'll
You
tell
know
you
why?
what.
Because those are the survivors. Those are gonna be
Snake.
the ones that are gonna make it out alive.
That's right. No, I'm all for Russell coming back. He's probably still in shape.
Yeah,
But
I'm pushing for Big Trouble in Little China Part 2. I still
that's,
believe.
all right. Any other topics that come to your head this week?
Yeah, well, another big topic, and I think all this shit is related.
It is, man. It's
Um,
crazy.
the national shortage on coins. What
That's
the
a heavy one.
what the fuck is going on with this?
Chick-fil-A is giving coupons if you bring coins to pay with stuff. Either you get some kind of free meal or a free sandwich or a fry, and they're trying to keep the coins going through I guess their franchise. I'm not really
Yeah,
sure.
this has nothing to do with COVID. This has nothing to do with. I mean, it all has to do with all of this is all related. But I guess what I'm saying is the hygiene aspect of it.
I
We're
don't know,
not
man.
printing money because we don't have any fucking money. We're not
It's
printing any gold coins or any silver coins because we're out of silver.
That's
We're out of
right.
gold.
I
We're
think
out of
that
all the resources the Chinese have fucking bought up.
yeah, I think the standard's going to change in the monetary standard,
Paper
and
money's going to be gone.
I think some big changes are coming, and I don't know. Hopefully, they'll make sense when they come, but just not looking forward to hyperinflation. If that happens, that's not a good thing. And
Well,
I
I
don't know,
think
man.
this is,
It's crazy.
I think this is all part of the herd cooperative agenda to basically herd us all in a corner, strip us of every one of our the small amount of rights that we have left, and strip us down to a number. Most people are walking around already in the states with a bank card that has a chip.
Right.
They've been tracking your ass down forever. Maybe back then they didn't have the system perfected, but they're
Sure.
certainly perfecting it now
Right.
more than ever. So
Right.
uh, they need to get done. They need to get away with currency, the monetary paper money. They need to get rid of coins altogether because why? It's a huge expense. Number two, they're out of the resources to make the fucking coins.
Right.
And number three, it goes against the New World Order agenda. New World Order agenda clearly will be bringing in one world currency.
Right.
So why in the world are we going to keep printing coins? Why in the world are we going to keep printing money when you have a chip on your card, and eventually that's going to dissolve into probably an app or something related to the cell phone, or maybe not, and altogether is going to be one world currency, and that's what you need to abide by. And this all falls under the COVID, all world, everybody sick at one time.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think China's part of the New World Order in Russia?
I don't.
Well, of course, if we go to war, if they attack, if they take Taiwan, if they're against, land in New Zealand and or against the British Empire, they're not part of the New World Order. You're right about that.
And you could tell from the beginning they're not part of the New World Order plan.
What about Russia?
I don't know where Russia is yet. I don't really know where they're standing.
Right.
And if you those fuckers they're conniving fuckers. Oh, they're looking at both. They're reading who is really going. They might be worried on both fronts.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think Russia right now is
they're closer
looking around, and they also have their own elections. But they never trusted
the United States.
Well, of course not. Why would they?
No, because they've been fucking brainwashed as well as the states were brainwashed about communism versus democracy. Even though I guess they would lean a little towards democracy because they converted. But at the end of the day,
Putin is king, my friend.
Yeah, but going back to is China part of the New World Order agenda? Being a part of the New World Order agenda? No, they're not, because from the beginning of the onset of this COVID business, and even before that, there is a big propaganda machine, at least in the States, against China.
Right.
Everybody else is their brothers in arms.
Yeah, I mean, we're living through some interesting times. Like I said, my opinion is going to be that we're entering a trading and Cold War with China. It's going to be some tensions out there in the Pacific. It's going to be maybe some hostilities. Hopefully it doesn't become something out of Red Dawn with Patrick Swayze. But you never know, man. Swayze's out, so I don't know who's going to replace him. Have you seen any good movies? Just keep it light now for a little bit. It's too heavy. Some of these topics are too heavy. I've had a rough week.
I'm watching a really good series. It's not a light-hearted one. It's definitely not a little, a belly-busting chuckle.
Right.
But I'm watching this series, actually, Stephen King wrote I guess he wrote the book, and HBO made the series. It's called The Outsider. And it's really good so far. And mind you, I'm in episode 4 so far, but I like it. I mean, I've always...
Is that with Jason Bateman?
Yes.
He's a good actor, man. That guy, he's good actor,
shedding... Better director than actor. He directs a lot of stuff.
If you ever seen Ozark, did you ever see Ozark?
I've never seen that show.
You'll like it if you ever watch it. It's all about, and he, I think, directs, acts.
He probably directs, yeah.
He's really good. So, yeah, I'm going to try to check that one out. I know Stephen King, so he's Stephen King. So, must be really good.
And Stephen King, to me, I mean, when you've been writing all this level of spook for this long and you're still fucking being able to produce it. I mean,
what are the premises? I know a little bit that it's like some guy commits a crime, right? The Jason Bateman character or somebody commits a crime, and there's like he can't be placed at the scene, or there's 2 of them. What? I'm very confused about it. How does this start?
Well, I'm confused as I'm watching it because there's obviously I haven't finished the whole series.
Sure.
But I'm coming down to the conclusion that it's kind of based on the whole doppelganger theory.
Right.
We all have a doppelganger.
Right. Spooky. Woof.
It's a real spooky shit.
Yeah, it's funny because I just looked around. Stephen King's got that kind of magic.
Yeah, and he can write it. And he's writing about this, other people that look just like you committing crimes. It's fucking heavy.
That, with all the technology we have now, it's so spooky because, the only way you'd be able to prove it is if you have an alibi, or if you have some heavy, they find something that can prove
substantial proof. But It's very good. I recommend it. At least I haven't gone to the end, so I can't.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. Look, it
That
sounds,
one's good. I got to see Ozark. Ozark looks really
yeah,
good. And then
it's really good, man. It's
I heard
good.
there's another show that's supposed to be good, but um, a lot of people said it's worth checking out. It's that Yellowstone with Kevin Costner.
Might be, yeah, I
I don't
mean,
know. I haven't seen it. It might be worth it, but I can't tell. In terms
yeah,
of movies, or if I've seen any good movies, I saw a great one yesterday, classic, the Star Trek, J. Abrams Star Trek.
the
Very
original one,
good.
the first one,
The first one Abrams
yeah,
put together.
with
Um,
Chris Pine.
yes, very good.
It's very good, man. I mean, William Shatner, I remember, was, of course, being William Shatner, had a problem with Chris Pine playing Kirk, but I mean, I think in many ways, if he, kind of ate his words at some point, because Chris Pine did a great job, man. He did really good.
He did, and it's a whole different vibe. So I'm watching that one. I'm gonna just hammer out the other two because the whole series is really good.
Yeah, series is really good.
But what else can we do right now in this
Mm,
fucking COVID life? You can't go to the theaters. There's nothing you can go see. All you could do is binge on TV or you watch old movies.
watch old movies and see what's, see what's still pretty good from the old days, old movies or classic movies that maybe you haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah, nothing like the classics.
I've been still waiting for Dune, waiting for the trailer to come out. The director's gonna, come out with one, but read an article that the director of Dune had a problem. He thought it would be okay editing or working with his partner, via Zoom or Skype or quarantine. And he said something really cool. It's like a band. We have to be next to each other. We have to feed off each other.
That's right.
And that scares me a little because it sounds to me like if he didn't go back and fix some of the stuff with his partner, it may not be as good as it could be. So I'm waiting to see what happens with that. I haven't really
Well,
read too
it's
much.
worth that they do it the way they know how to do it, so it comes out, the best possible and the truest way of the artistic vision than trying to
Sure.
do this fucking, like everything else. Everybody's doing this stuff. It's none of it, and it's as we're talking about other things, but you kind of pull back to the way we're currently living right now. But part of this agenda is to be disconnected from one another. I think that's part of the fucking torture.
Well, I don't know. To me, it's just very interesting. I think that this stuff.
Fucking social experiment.
I mean, I'll give you my opinion, my interpretation of everything. I still, whether you believe that COVID-19 came from China or not, let's say it did came out of China, whether you believed it was mutated or it really came from a bat, nobody knows. But it came in, nobody was ready for it. People questioned it. People are still questioning it. Nobody still knows why people get different. Some people get coughs, some people kick it off in a day, some people can't breathe, some people get blood clots, some people get heart problems or brain problems. Absolutely nuts. And I think, of course, I think China's watching, man. China's watching. All our enemies are watching. Our own government's watching. They're seeing how they can weaponize this. The left and the right have been doing it for a while. It's absolutely crazy, man. I've never seen anything like this. It's absolutely, and the technology we have is supposed to help us decipher the truth, but always making us confused because people are just spitting out stuff. There's no editing like it used to be. Used to watch the news in the morning and then in the afternoon, and people could go through the facts and figure out what was going on. It's nuts, man. It's like a
Yep.
circus. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes with that because
I think it's a social experiment on
pretty
top of it
much.
all.
Well, that's the thing. I think that in many ways it has become that in its own accord, whether it was meant to be that somebody had a master plan like in Watchmen or the comic book from DC or it's or just kind of spinned out and people are just weaponizing things from the left and the right and other countries are weaponizing things going on. It's nuts, but this economic depression that's coming, it's going to affect everybody. It's going to affect people in South America, people everywhere. It's going to
Yeah.
be really crimes going up in other countries too. People are out of work for whatever reason, or taking the opportunity to say, hey, you know what? Since, it's the quarantine's very weird, man. It's in other countries, supposedly there's times you have to go in, and it's just whacked. I mean, I can't even look at the facts anymore because it changes every other day in any other country you look at. They take up the curfew, they put the curfew back on, people die, people don't die. I don't know, I mean, the curve, everybody keeps talking about a curve. Man, I'm tired of it. It's like
Wearing everyone out.
kick it to the curve. You know what I mean? It's like nobody. No, I think people are worn out, and a lot of divorces, my friend. A lot of people. You see a lot of actors and actresses, and people in the media, and it just pops up on your screen. Oh, together 8 years or 18 years, and it's okay.
They can't stand
We're
each
still
other.
friends. Yeah, you guys never really lived with each other. You guys never really got to know each other, or maybe you grew apart. I don't know. Who am I to judge? But all I'm saying is, man, this is working everybody. I'll tell you that. Left, right, left jab, right hook. My God, going for the body, going for the head.
That's it.
It's hurting from everywhere. And like I said, I see New York going back to mean streets. 70s, it's going back to, Ghostbusters, the original. It's gonna be crazy, man. And LA is gonna be dark again like it used to be. I don't know whenever LA was dark. I guess it was dark for a long time and kind of boring, but I don't know.
Well, sooner or later, the illusion had to come to a close.
Oh, sure,
Sooner.
sure.
I think all of these other things that the outside influences that are affecting our culture right now um, are literally ripping the band-aids off of all the different places that we for the longest time were just putting away all of the important things that we kept ignoring.
Right, right.
We ignored debt, right? We ignored debt. The country ignores debt just as much as the citizens ignore the debt. They have it, it's there, and now you have situations where we're at the precipice of a financial disaster, right? And people start to lose their jobs. Not only can they not pay for their houses, they can't pay for the light, the utilities, they can't pay for their living space. They can't afford their debt, and their debt is even outweighing their expenses. They have no savings. These people, it's not like let's even go back to the Depression. In the Depression, you had a lot of people that sunk because of the Depression, but there was a lot of people because they were wise, because they were smart enough, and the mentality was different. Credit didn't exist back then.
Right, wasn't
people had savings.
Right.
And the people that had savings, the people that saved for a rainy day, the people that put a little bit away each day were the ones that were able to wither the storm. These people today, aside from the fucking rich, the insanely rich, because even having $1 million in this country is fucking useless now.
Well, look,
okay? $1 million doesn't get you very far. Just to close this up, I'm just saying, all of these illusions we live, the debt, the expensive cars, the big houses we could never afford with the pool, and then the cable channels with over thousands of channels that you're never going to watch. All of the overabundant spending and the overabundant consuming that we do has fucking overconsumed us.
Well, I'll tell you what my opinion is. My opinion is a lot of ingredients came together that people weren't expecting. They thought somehow that things were going to be okay for a while, but you have this COVID coming in, which is a virus that nobody was ready for. You also had all these implements from states and government saying to shut down food and places, shut everything down. People, cut hair, and they couldn't cut hair anymore because of COVID. A lot of jobs suffer. A lot of people that work in food or a beauty or any kind of industry. Then you have the sleeping dragon giant, which is China, saying, oh, well, now it's time to attack. This is time to start moving and moving our head and swinging around, because the Americans are down and they're still swinging. Everything's kind of quiet. And you had, like you said, people not understanding what credit is, what actually credit is, like the darkest thing. You really are nobody until you owe somebody something and pay somebody back something that's overpriced or against you, or you maybe can barely afford it, even if you save all your money. And people going out there buying lavish cars and all kinds of crazy stuff because they can trade it in, and they'll never own it, and abracadabra this, and it's all these ingredients come together. And yeah, you're right. In the 30s, some people that had money saved up, had a farm, or had a way to weather the storm. They did, but the rich got richer, and hey, billionaires are banking it. The market is
They
not doing
are.
that bad. It's nuts, man.
Yeah,
How are
but
they
I think
making
that's a
money?
fucking illusion too. I don't
It's,
believe that. I think the numbers are being inflated every day. I think they're selling the illusion everything's okay, because who the fuck controls the markets?
there you go. Well, I'll tell you what. A lot of the new contenders for the executive branch have really good ties to Wall Street, like always. So it's all about the beast and who serves the beast and who's willing to dance for the beast, and it's the same dance. So I guess we're
And
gonna keep. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and did you see how the United States, and I think there's another coalition of fucking bankers from around the world, have pushed China out of Wall Street? That's the other thing. They're pushing them out
Well,
of
they
Wall
have
Street.
to. They
They're
need to.
banning them from
But
fucking
this is
trading.
the
They're
Cold
ban.
War.
This
Cold
is
War with
everything
China.
that's hard. Everything is happening. You
Because of
guys,
Hong Kong, man.
the
It's
people
nuts.
listening, the people listening on our program, the listeners, the true faithful here. We got three
All
souls.
three of you out there.
Through you out there in fucking in Belarus. Um, Look it up.
Right.
They're kicking them out of Wall Street.
Well, that makes
They don't
sense,
want,
man.
and this is how is
Of
that not an
course.
act of aggression?
It has to be. Well, but China manipulates its money and its currency, man. It's been doing it for a long time.
They're not
So,
the only ones.
of course, of course. But what I'm saying is, I am not living in China right now. This is the
Yeah.
dark part. I think you have to, in some way, pick a side. And in many ways, it's like you either pick, a demon or another demon, a red snake or a green snake. It's gonna come down to that, man. And um, the more truth you learn, maybe the darker it is where you're standing, because the other side could be way darker. So both sides to me are screwed up, but what's coming is going to be tough either way. And wherever you're at, better to prepare a little bit, have some food saved up for a rainy day. This election may be very interesting. I mean, if I was an enemy of America, I would love to just mess with this election, just like they did with Facebook and all that, all those groups and all the manipulating all kinds of media. It's going to be so crazy, man. It's going to be almost, I'm actually scared a little bit, because you have the race thing going on, like you said, you have the economic thing, you have the COVID thing, and then you have China being aggressive, you have Hong Kong being taken off the market. That's why they're kicking them out, like no more, because now you have a power play with Hong Kong. And it's going to be so, it's like history, man. It's going to be weird. It's going to be very strange. And hopefully somebody's watching over us, because let me tell you, you never know when the simulation's going to end. Hopefully it'll continue a little bit longer, because I keep thinking, straight Tetris. And I am playing. I'm not playing. Someone's playing for me. I'm a little cube.
Somebody's
I'm a little
moving.
cube trying to fit
Yeah.
somewhere. But any closing thoughts?
Well, I think we said a lot today for sure. There's a lot going on. Just like I always say, be aware. You know, for sure, know where you are, your surroundings, know a little bit about the world forum, you know, the spectrum of what's going on, not just in your neighborhood, not just in your little world, but start reading up on some of the signs of what's happening, because no matter what, it is going to affect you. And it might not be you might not be the person or the, you know, the couple of individuals that can change something, because when it's just a few, it is against the many and against the powers that are out there. It might not be effective, but you could start at least putting yourself in a position of creating a plan, because the plan could very well be what's going to save your life in the end, and or at least give you that extra step to go forward and be one step ahead of things, because um, things can get crazy, but they'll get crazier if you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, on my side of the corner here, I just want to tell everybody, watch your immune system, take your supplements, try to work out, walk half an hour a day, 15 minutes, you know, twice a day. Take your vitamin D if you have it, take vitamin C, eat oranges, eat peaches. Try to not to have too much stress in your life, try to get rid of that. And, you know, stock up for maybe 2 or 3 days, 2 weeks, maybe, you know, canned soup, things that you can make easily. And, you know, you never know how this is going to go. You know, that's the extreme part of it. But I haven't seen any, you know, medical professional talking about hypertension or obesity or how this can, you know, to take care of yourself. So maybe you don't get this super flu, whatever the hell it is.
That's right.
You know, nobody says anything like that, man. I don't see
Go
anybody saying, "Hey, let's work." Yeah, it's go buy a mask, or and good luck breathing your carbon monoxide in, because I don't even think it's that healthy. And I'm not saying don't wear a mask, but I'm saying get some fresh air once in a while. If you have to wear it, take it off. Go outside by yourself and distance yourself, because it's not healthy to wear it all day. It's nuts, man. Especially if you work somewhere where you're surrounded by people. But other than that, Mono, that's it for tonight. We're gonna keep it short and sweet. So you guys out there, stay cool and watch some Michael Caine movies if you can.
That's
the
right.
classics. All right, guys.
Hidden Valley, Last Valley.
That's a good one. Omar Sharif. Omar, we miss you. All right, guys. This has been great. This is Sonic Rascal saying good night. And Leche de Mono.
You are in the Nexus Wormhole.
You are in the Nexus Wormhole with your host, Sonic Rascal.